in Pittsburgh, ready to start the game. Who's in, who's out tonight? For more on that, to the field we go, and Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, Al, offensive line issues for both teams. Patriots guard Stephen Neal out. Dan Connolly starts in his place. Pittsburgh unveils its fourth different starting offensive line combination tonight, including a new left side. Tackle Max Starks out for the season with a neck. Guard Chris Kimayatu out tonight with a knee. In their place, Jonathan Scott and Ramon Foster making his first start of the season. Now, Ben Roethlisberger called having two new guys on his blind side a big deal. But offensive coordinator Bruce Arians said, whoever they have in there, it changes nothing that we do. And Al, linebacker James Harrison showed up on the injury report yesterday with back spasms. Mike Tomlin told me he's fine, no limitations.
All right, thank you, Andrea. Tonight's matchup, of course, two teams not in the same division, but they might as well be with this rivalry. Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger. 3 rings for Tom, 01, 03, 04, and then Roethlisberger following the 05 and 08 seasons. This is the first time in a quarter century since 1985 you've had a game featuring quarterbacks with multiple Super Bowl rings. Plunkett against Montana back in '85. Shane Graham, and he's a story. Stephen Gostkowski is on injured reserve, their kicker. So Graham, the one-time Bengal who kicked in one game for the Giants this year, he'll be their place kicker, they hope, for the rest of the year. They signed him this week. Gostkowski was a good kickoff man. Now what about Graham? Pretty good beginning. To the goal line it goes. Emmanuel Sanders, a rookie out of SMU, brings it back to the 26-yard line. And let's take a look at the Steelers offense.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Rashard Mendenhall, Illinois. Hines Ward, Georgia.
Mike Wallace, Old Perry-Walker High School.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Matt Spaeth, Minnesota.
Jonathan Scott, Texas.
Ramon Foster, Tennessee.
Marquise Pouncey, Florida.
Trey Essex, Northwestern.
Lozo Adams, Michigan State.
Adams, the longtime Cowboy. Patriots won the toss tonight, elected to defer, so they put their defense out on the field first with those 4 rookies in the starting lineup. Rashard Mendenhall is the running back, and they start on the ground over right guard. A gain of just 2. Ron Brace making the stop. So Ben Roethlisberger out of Miami of Ohio, picked in the first round in '04, wins the Super Bowl after his 2nd season, wins the Super Bowl after his 5th season, and right now, as you saw his numbers, 3-1 on the win-loss ledger in the last 4 games, and again matched up with Tom Brady, warming up on the Patriots sideline. 2nd down, 7 from just outside the 28-yard line. 5 receivers. Roethlisberger out of the gun and has that knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and that was Gary Guyton, number 59, the inside linebacker, to swat it down. 3rd and 7.
Well, you would expect they're going to test the left side, but here they're going to come with a blitz over here on the right side of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, where their offensive line is intact. Guyton gets his hands up, and that's a good start, because now the Patriots get a chance to get into some of their gimmick defenses after stopping the run, which was a major issue for them last week against the Cleveland Browns.
3rd and 7. Mewelde Moore is their 3rd down back. He's in the backfield flanking Roethlisberger. He had a concussion last week, but passed all of the tests. And in the game here tonight, play clock all the way down to 0 as Ben throws over the middle, and that one gets swatted down by Kyle Arrington. So a very good opening defensive series for the Patriots after deferring, and Pittsburgh to punt.
Well, this time they are going to test that left side. They're all going to come from this way over here, and a pretty nice job in the back end by Kyle Arrington covering up Mike Wallace one-on-one. That's not bad for a guy you pick up off the waiver wire. He's been pretty good.
Daniel Sepulveda, the left-footed kicker, sending it Julian Edelman's way. He calls for a fair catch at the 31-yard line, and that's where Brady will go to work for the first time tonight as we take a look at the New England starters.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Danny Woodhead, Chadron State College.
Wes Welker, Texas Tech.
Brandon Tate, North Carolina.
Deion Branch, Louisville.
Algie Crumpler, North Carolina.
Matt Light, Purdue University.
Logan Mankins, Fresno State.
Dan Copen,
Boston College.
Dan Connolly, Southeast Missouri.
Sebastian Ballmer, University of Houston.
For Mankins, the outstanding left guard, contract dispute had him out until last week, so he makes his second start of the season. Then Jarvis Green Ellis gets the start at running back, and they begin with a pass that is caught by Rob Gronkowski, a rookie out of Arizona. So for Tom Brady, 11th year in the league, and you all know the story. Picked well down in the draft in 2000, took over when Drew Bledsoe got hurt in 01, led him to the Super Bowl, had that knee injury on opening day 2 years ago. Good year last year, but it ended with a New England loss to Baltimore in the playoffs, and now he's guided the team to a 6-2 mark thus far. Harrison is there. Andrea talked about the back spasms. Woodhead is now in the backfield with Brady. 2nd and 4, and they send Woodhead out. And Brady, good pocket, throws, and it's caught, and that'll be a first down. Algie Crumpler making the catch. Let's take a look at the Pittsburgh defense.
Ziggy Hood, Missouri.
Casey Hampton, Texas.
Nick Eason, Clemson University.
Lamar Woodley, University of Michigan.
James Ferrier, Virginia.
Lawrence Timmons, Florida State.
James Harrison, Kent State.
Bryant McFadden, Florida State.
Troy Polamalu, University of Southern California.
Ryan Clark, LSU.
Ike T. Swagger University.
That Pittsburgh defense mentioned at the top, fewest points allowed in the league. And Brady has time again and is able to check it down and picks up another first down. Gronkowski makes another catch. So he's been going to his tight ends on the opening drive. First down, New England.
If you're going to beat Pittsburgh, you have to be able to do it on the outside here against these outside linebackers. And for Matt Light, he's just an old warhorse out there. And, of course, we'll keep an eye on Harrison and see how that back holds up. But Brady looking one way, comes back to the backside. And for Gronkowski, a better start this week than last week.
Yeah, especially on the kickoff where he called for a fair catch and then didn't catch the ball, and that resulted in a turnover and more Cleveland points. And this has been Jarvis Green Ellis inside the 35 and takes a couple of guys for a ride down to the 30-yard line. Logan Mankins helping to lead the way, and that's an 18-yard run, and that's the longest run of the season against the Pittsburgh defense.
One of the surprises has been this guy right here, Algie Crumpler, as a blocker. You'll remember him back in the days with Atlanta and catching all those balls. Well, now he's sort of become the go-to blocker on this team. And Al, I think that might have been the longest run against this Steelers defense all year.
Just mentioned it had been 14 yards, and that goes for 18. And the ball is at the 30-yard line, first down. Again, 5 receivers. And the pass is caught. And this time it's Wes Welker taking it to the 20-yard line. One thing about Bill Belichick through the years, when he faces Pittsburgh, he is pass crazy. Take a look at this. In the regular season, 73% of the time against Pittsburgh, he throws the ball. 55-45 against all other teams. And Brady in those games, a 3-figure pass rating in 4 regular season games against the Steelers. Already 4 first downs on this drive. Green Ellis this time gets stopped in his tracks after crossing the 20-yard line. James Farrier makes the tackle.
Well, the one thing that Belichick always does is he comes out and he's going to check you out defensively, how you're going to play. And I was wondering, would he play this thing with a lot of wide receivers spread around? But really, he has played the entire drive thus far with 2 tight ends in the game, which gives him some options as far as blocking those outside linebackers. And yet they've still been able to get out on the pass routes and make some plays.
They go with 3 tight ends here, so all kinds of disparate formations here. 5 wide, 3 tight ends on the first drive, doing a great job mixing it up. And over the middle again, and that pass this time is dropped. It's incomplete. He had Green Ellis over the middle, and it will be 3rd down and 9.
Well, for Pittsburgh, there's a few different looks in there as well. Of course, if you've been following the Steelers, you know that Aaron Smith and Brett Kiesel, 2 of their outstanding defensive players over the years, out Nick Eason, Ziggy Hood in there now. So maybe a little better opportunity to run it than in the past against Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh has not allowed a first quarter touchdown all season. Not only opening drive, the entire first quarter. 3rd down and 9. Play clock at 1. And the pass is caught on the run. Touchdown, Rob Gronkowski. 19 yards, and what an opening drive for the New England Patriots. Tom Brady on the drive, 5 out of 6 for 52 yards and this touchdown.
It looks like a blitz over here, but they back out. Just a 3-man rush and a tight end working against the nickel back on the outside, William Gay. And Gronkowski is making amends for what was a very poor game a week ago, making big plays on that drive.
And coming home to do it, spent his senior year in high school here in Pittsburgh at Woodland Hills High School. And the extra point by the newly signed Shane Graham is good. Opening drive for New England, next to perfect. 7-0. Pittsburgh, PA on this mid-November Sunday night. Gronkowski, last week, a week to forget for him. And tonight, well, a touchdown in the town in which he attended high school his senior year. 3 catches on that drive. And it's 7-0 as Emmanuel Sanders takes this kick back, skirts the sideline. Good run back as he gets it out to the 37-yard line. Roethlisberger and company back out, down by 7. 2 really great nose tackles tonight. You've got Casey Hampton for Pittsburgh, and on the other side there is Vince Wilfork. 7 seasons. There's Casey. 2 fraternity brothers, the fraternity of nose tackles. Wilfork said one day we're all going to get together and go find the biggest buffet we can chow down at. Here's Mendenhall taking it out to the 39-yard line.
I'll tell you, it's kind of interesting. Typically, Wilfork plays right over the center. Here you can see he's a little bit in this gap right there. And they were talking defensively after the way they got gouged a week ago by the Cleveland Browns. They might do a few things with Wilfork tonight to try and help those linebackers get covered up and allow them to run a little bit more. Seemed like the Browns were able to get up on Jared Mayo in particular a week ago. There he is again.
Yeah, Peyton Hillis had a phenomenal day, and they rushed for over 200 yards total. And that is Gerard Mayo, who's really become the star of this defense in his 3rd year out of Tennessee, #1 draft choice in 08, in the backfield for the tackle.
Well, you see what happens here. You go there to make the block, and then you come off the backside, and that's what they were talking about. Typically, it's Brandon Spikes who ends up doing more blitzing. He did a lot of it last week against Cleveland. Already we're seeing a different look this week with Mayo now coming off the offset nose.
3rd and 10. This is the second drive for the Steelers. They were 3 and out in the first. Moore, per usual, in the game on 3rd down. And he stays in the block, and Roethlisberger has time and finds his man, Heath Miller, the tight end, for Pittsburgh's initial first down of the game, and across the 50 to the 47.
Going the other way, and the coverage just leaned that way, and there was nobody left backside for Heath Miller, who is really the go-to guy out here. So many times when you look at the statistics and the numbers, when they throw to Heath Miller, almost off the chart. He always seems to make a play.
1st and 10, catching a few less balls this year perhaps because they're keeping him in to block more with the shuffling that's going on up front. And that pass is out too far with a flag thrown. Hines Ward, the intended receiver. Carl Cheffers is the referee, and this is the first time we'll have Carl check in tonight.
Holding, number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's the right guard, Trey Essex.
Kind of one of the last healthy bodies out here, along with Marquise Pouncey. There we go, right here. Let's take a look. Working against Mike Wright, I believe, and just sort of slung him to the ground once they grabbed the back of the shoulder pads.
Halfway through the quarter now, 1st down and 20 from the 42-yard line. Then protected well in the pass, a little high and a little behind Wallace. Let's take a look at the New England defensive starters.
Ron Briss, Boston College.
Vince Wilfork, University of Miami.
Brendan Dedrick, Crimson Tide.
Jermaine Cunningham, the U, University of Florida.
Gerard Mayo, Tennessee.
Brandon Spikes, Florida.
Bob Ninkovich, Purdue University.
Devin McCourty, Rutgers.
Brandon Merriweather, proud father of Morgan Merriweather.
Patrick Chung, Oregon.
Kyle Arrington, Hofstra.
Matt Patricia there, listed as the linebackers coach. Calls in the defenses, calls them into Gerard Mayo, who's in there in almost every situation. Second down and 20, and Roethlisberger will go to the ground. And that's Gary Guyton, who earlier swatted down a pass, getting Roethlisberger down. And normally Ben's about as easy to get to the ground as an apartment building.
Here's Mayo going to come from right here, and he's really, or Gary Guyton's going to come from right there, and he's just in a read blitz situation. He had the back, he had Mendenhall, but then he saw Mendenhall block, and he said, okay, fine, I'll just go get me a sack. He's really in coverage, but the minute Mendenhall just sat there and looked like he was going to block, there was no reason to cover him.
3rd and 30 now. They have to get to the 38-yard line of the Patriots. And Roethlisberger has time. Going to his left, and he is in the grasp. Jeffers comes in and signals a sack at that point. Sean Crable and Mike Wright had him in a vice. And what a defensive series for the Patriots. Again.
Well, one of the things that the Patriots were talking about was when you get a shot at Ben, you have to hit him and wrap him up. A lot of defenses make the mistake because he sticks that ball out there trying to go after the ball and he makes you miss. They didn't want to do that. They just wanted to hit him.
So on 4th and 37, Sepulveda's kick is fielded at the 26. There's a flag down. Edelman will bring it back out to the 38-yard line. And somebody got downfield too quickly. Checking with Belichick to see what he wants to do.
Number 55 of the kicking team was ineligible downfield on the punt. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the return. Timeout.
Stevenson Sylvester sets New England up near midfield. Pats on top by a touchdown. When it comes to rebounds, there are very few coaches like Belichick. Since 03, New England 22-2 in games following a loss. And last week, they were beaten, not quite humiliated, but beaten up pretty good by the Cleveland Browns. There was no question that the Browns were the better team last Sunday. From the 42, Brady juggles the shotgun snap and is still able to get it away, and it's Deion Branch, the once and current Patriot, who comes back to the team after they get rid of Randy Moss, and now they're going to try to go quickly, thinking about the possibility that Pittsburgh would challenge the call. So Brady got him up to the line. Take a look at this. Tomlin has gotten the word from upstairs not to challenge, and New England runs the play with Danny Woodhead taking the ball to the 44-yard line. And a flag on the other side of the field at the 36-yard line. So totally away from the play for the penalty here.
Julian Edelman and Ike Taylor scrapping back there. Don't know if that's where the foul was.
There's no foul for illegal substitution. The player in question was in the prior play. Second down.
Troy Polamalu, and I'm sure we will hear from him before the night is done, before too long, in fact. It's amazing. Already 8 years in the league. You know, you think of him as still a young guy. Pittsburgh with that very veteran defense. Brandon Tate is the guy in motion. 2nd and 5. Brady, play action, buys time. Wide open again. Deion Branch to the 26-yard line, and then the ball comes loose at the end of the play. And the question is, was it down at the 25-yard line? And again, now New England's getting up to the line of scrimmage to make sure that there's no challenge here. Here's Branch going down, and the ball pops out after he's down, clearly. 26-yard line again. Rushing to the line, the Patriots on 1st and 10 with under 5 minutes to play in the quarter. 2 fakes, and then a screen is set up, but Pittsburgh reads that very nicely, and Green Ellis is tackled after he makes the catch. Woodley was there.
Pretty good stuff on the outside by Lamar Woodley right here. He's out there really getting blocked on the play. It looked like he was going to be out of it, managed to shed one, shed another, then go underneath and make that one. So these outside linebackers, they're going to be a force on every play.
A lot of razzle-dazzle, but at the end of the night, it's a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. And Brady throws, and that pass for Branch is incomplete. 3rd and 9. Deion Branch was with New England, wanted more money, wound up signing with Seattle, then they brought him back. Remember a few years ago when Brady had a whole bunch of receivers and there was really no number 1 guy in the middle of the decade. We said to him one night, hey, who's the best? Who's your best guy? And he said Deion Branch. And a year later, he was in Seattle.
Yeah.
But now he's back, and it's 3rd down and 9. Steelers come. Brady gets it away. Welcome makes the catch and picks up a 1st down. William Gay finally forcing him out of bounds, but they convert on 3rd and 9.
Well, anytime you have a 5'7" back in the backfield, it's always a little bit risky, but watch the blitz pick up here. This guy's a pretty amazing guy. Danny Woodhead, a very fast player, but just like 5'7", and you look at him and you go, there's no way he could block one of these Steelers linebackers, and yet he's been doing it all year.
1st and 10. Green Ellis. You know, you look at that New England running game, Chris, and Maroney was their leading ball carrier last year. They traded him to Denver week 2. Kevin Falk was on injured reserve after the 2nd week of the season. And then you had, as Dick LeBeau and his run defense right now, which has been very, very proficient, has watched New England march down the field. Fred Taylor's been on the team, of course, since last year, and then this season hurt his toe, hasn't played in a long time. So Woodhead and Green Ellis have done the heavy lifting. 2nd down and 8. Brady to his left. Throws, and again he goes to the tight end, Gronkowski, with a flag down. Gronkowski, for the moment, comes close to picking up the 1st down. But
personal foul, chop block, number 42, offense, 15-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It's the running back, Green Ellis.
You know, this is a hustle play. Matt Light was trying to block down. Last second, he tries to come back and make a block. But BenJarvus Green Ellis doesn't know that, and so he's going to cut this linebacker. That's what he does. But once Matt Light puts his hands on him, you can no longer cut that backer, and that's the reason for the penalty.
Second and 23. Hand the ball off to Woodhead, who started the season with the Jets. He takes it to the 23-yard line, and Lamar Woodley is there for the tackle. 3rd down and 19 now.
Yeah, it's always a guessing game, and these two so good at it. Tom Brady and Dick LeBeau going at it. Anytime you get backed up, 2nd down and 20, you're expecting a blitz out of Dick LeBeau. Just didn't get it that time. But watch inside, Wes Welker and Troy Polamalu. Those two guys, Welker's one of the best blockers, and Polamalu's one of the best, period.
Third and a mile, and Brady slipping away and throws, and on the move, Woodhead will take it down to the 12 to make it a lot easier for Graham to try to kick this field goal. So the new unit coming in right here, you've got a new place kicker, you have a new snapper, Matt Katula, you've got a rookie holder in Zoltan Mesko, even though Katula and Graham have played together before. But there it is. It's the first game the three of them have played together here. Clearly Graham signed this week. Obviously he's new, and we'll see about a 31-yard field goal in one of the toughest places to kick field goals in the National Football League. But right now only a light breeze, and Graham's kick is good. 1:03 remaining in the opening quarter. New England off to a hot start, 10-0. Cruising down the Allegheny.
Good guess.
No, I recognize that
You
bridge.
knew it. Okay,
That's the bridge that goes from downtown over to where the stadiums are. Monongahela on the other side at the confluence of the Ohio. 5-yard line. Emmanuel Sanders. Upended at the 31-yard line by Devin McCourty. Ben and the boys down by 10, late first. Mike Tomlin often has a great description of things. The other day he said, you know what, we're an emotional bunch. The Patriots are a cerebral bunch. They'll wait for us to implode. They're flatliners. So we thought we'd give you a little EKG matchup as you look at the two guys.
I don't know. So far the Steelers have been the flatliners out there. They don't have anything to show for anything on offense so far.
All New England in the first quarter. Mwelde Moore is going to start this series on first down as the running back from the 31-yard line. And they give the ball to Moore. A couple of yards over the right side. Gary Guyton is there to make the tackle.
It was interesting talking to Ben Roethlisberger before this game. He said, I put on the tape of the Patriots, and we're so used to playing against all those great players on the defense over there. And he said, my first thought was, who are these guys? He recognized a couple of them, but not very many.
Changing the tempo, Roethlisberger goes without a huddle here on 2nd down and 7.
165. 165.
Maybe no huddle, but that hardly changes the tempo. Play clock already down to 5. 2nd and 7, and over the middle. Catch is made by Hines Ward. Makes his first grab of the night. A little slow to get up as the potential future Hall of Famer as the clock expires, and that is the end of the first quarter. All Patriots 10-0. New England end of 1. And Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer back in Pittsburgh, and that's a sight no Steeler fan wants to see. Ward on the bench because of this hit from Sanders coming in helmet to helmet.
Yeah, and then the question becomes, was he still defenseless, or had he caught it and turned up the field? I don't think that he had quite turned and become a runner yet, but he was wobbly coming off the field. We saw him take 3 or 4 missteps trying to walk to the bench, and he had help.
He needed assistance. There it is, all the way to the bench. Wobble there. And a couple of more as well on the way to the sidelines. So we'll get a report as soon as we can, obviously, about a man who is as important to this offense as anybody. And New England, meanwhile, will now challenge the play at the end of the quarter as to whether Ward even caught the ball to make it what would be a 3rd down and 2. So they're looking at this now. Is Carl Cheffers under the hood? You watch the hit. Now the ball's going to come loose. And did he make the catch? Did he have possession before he goes to the ground?
Was he going to the ground in the process of making the catch? If that were the case, he would have to maintain possession all the way through. There's definitely a little movement there. I would say the ball is out if they considered that going to the ground in the process of the catch. That's probably the decision that has to be made, and the only one, really.
Check out Ward shaking his leg on the sideline.
Tell you what, the Patriots came out smoking tonight, didn't they? One more. I would say that he was going to the ground in the process of making that catch, and then it looked like the ball did hit the ground. I would say probably incomplete. What do you think?
The ball is coming out as he's going to the ground. I had a guess here. I would say they're going to say this is not a catch.
Well, I tell you, it's always dangerous anytime a Bill Belichick coach team plays the way they did a week ago in Cleveland. That one was not good from any category. Offensively, defensively, they got physically handled in that one. And they have come out ready to play here tonight. The knee's down, but if he's going to the ground in the process of the catch, it wouldn't matter that the knee was down. You would have to maintain control all the way throughout that catch.
Close enough that Jeffers is taking about as long a look as is legal right now. It's either going to be 3rd and 2 if it's a completed pass, or 3rd and 7. So it's a 5-yard differential. Dr. Joseph Maroon is the Steeler neurologist. That is Dr. Maroon, who's checking out Ward.
One of the very best and foremost authorities, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he's doing the surgery on Max Starks here as well.
Here comes Jeffers. Finally. It's a long review.
After review, during the process of the catch, the receiver did lose possession of the ball. The ball hit the ground. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 7 on the 34-yard line with 10 seconds left in the first quarter. New England will not be charged with a timeout.
Insult to injury. So we go back in time, but Pittsburgh's going to let the clock run out, and they'll start the second quarter with a 3rd down and 7. Or we're going to come back, and let's see if they want to run a play here from their own 34-yard line. Well, 3rd and 7, and actually with an incomplete pass, that's going to stop the clock. So he puts the 10 seconds back on the clock, and they will have to run a play here.
Well, for Ben Roethlisberger, the protection has been okay on the left side where the substitutions have been. Really, the guy that's been struggling so far tonight has been Trey Essex.
Antoine Randall L, number 82, who's back with the Steelers after 4 seasons in Washington, comes in Ward's spot as Roethlisberger retrieves and then throws, and coming across the formation and getting whacked at the 41 close to a first down is Mike Wallace. Patrick Chung makes the tackle. That will end the first quarter with the score 10-0 New England. What a shot. So if it's not a first down and Tomlin wants to challenge the spot, we're back in the first quarter again.
Yeah. Because they had already flipped it to 15 minutes. I thought they'd already changed the quarter.
Yeah.
The end of the first quarter.
That Patriot defense, and we talked about them at the beginning of the telecast, and they played a very good first quarter. Defenders to start all 9 games, just those 3. The veterans Wilfork and Mayo, and then the rookie McCourty, and tied with the Falcons for the fewest starters in every game this season. 25.5, Belichick's youngest defense in his 16 seasons as a head coach. That would be 5 in Cleveland in the early 90s, and now since 2000 in New England. Quick update on Hines Ward. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, Al, after team neurologist Dr. Joseph Maroon examined Hines Ward, there was a lot of discussion amongst the other doctors and the trainer. The Steelers are calling it a neck injury. His return is questionable, and they will continue to evaluate him.
21-yard line. All right, thank you, Andrea. If it was deemed a concussion, he'd have to sit out. 1st and 10. The ball is at the 41. They ended the first quarter with a measurement as we went to commercial, and they just did pick up the first down. And now Moore will take the ball up to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 3.
One of the things that the Steelers were a little concerned about was the fact that they thought that New England might pick up on the fact that they were running right a lot. They really have been running behind Flozell Adams and Trey Essex, and we've begun to see New England's defense now overshift that way just a bit to try and take away that run.
2nd down and 7. That is 5 receiver set. Pressure put on by New England, so the pass has gotten away quickly. And Mwelde Moore makes the catch, but he'll be less than a yard shy of a first down. 3rd and 1.
Gerard Mayo coming on the blitz that time, and he may have gotten away with one. This was pretty close to a late hit. That ball's out, and he still delivered a pretty good blow. So I tell you, the Patriots tonight have come out hitting. This has been a very physical game so far. They've taken it to the Steelers so far.
And on 3rd and 1, busting his way through the middle and picking up the first down is Mwelde Moore.
It was so strange watching the game last week where the Pittsburgh Steelers were out there and just sort of having their way with the Cincinnati Bengals running the football. The week before, they really had struggled to run the ball, but then Rashard Mendenhall just took over when the game mattered most, and he's really begun to show something. He's been struggling with a little bit of a shoulder injury lately, and they're trying to reduce his carries, so we're seeing Mwelde Moore in a little bit more tonight.
Steelers again go no huddle on 1st down, and it's floated and incomplete, intended for Emmanuel Sanders. Devin McCourty, a rookie on the rookie Sanders.
Boy, I tell you, they love this Devin McCourty. They said from the first day that he showed up that he just had it. He played like a veteran. He studied like a veteran. They just couldn't believe how polished he was the minute he walked in. He was like one of their old school veterans that they've had on this team forever. They think he is going to be a long-term Pro Bowler on the outside.
2nd and 10 from the 45. And Roethlisberger guns that for Sanders, and that is incomplete. McCourty again on the coverage. 3rd down and 10.
Well, they're trying to pick on that left side of the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but at least so far they've been up to the call. Jonathan Scott, Ramon Foster, those guys over there filling in for Max Starks and Chris Kemoeatu have been doing a nice job. They've run probably 3 or 4 different looking blitzes that way, and they've had the answer.
Those 2 guys, there's Kemoeatu right there. Just get the 2 guys, the 2 new guys that guard and tackle, and the rookie center. And they love him, Pouncey. 3rd and 10. Then he's going to go down again, and that's 3 sacks. And that's Tully Banta-Cain.
Sack of the play.
Well, I put the kibosh on him there, Al. As soon as I brought it up, they bring their best pass rusher off the edge, a little spin move, and got right after Ben Roethlisberger. And you've got to wonder if that may get inside the head of Roethlisberger a little bit. You know, you're already questioning that backside, that blind side, and then you get hit on that one.
Sepulveda had to reach for the snap. And takes a nice bounce for New England as it hops into the end zone, and Brady will get the start from the 20-yard line. 12:47 remaining in the first half. 10-0 Patriots. And the pass is caught. Opening drive for New England, next to perfect.
This is Sunday night.
Opening drive, touchdown. They added a field goal. They have the ball now. New England's first 2 drives. 8 plays, 70 yards, and a TD. 10 plays, 46 yards, and a field goal. Brady is 10 out of 12 for 103. To the air on first down off the play fake. And another completion that's caught by Deion Branch for a gain of 9.
Well, if you're a young quarterback, I don't know of anybody that has the mechanics that Tom Brady has. It's almost flawless. Straight over the top. He tucks that left elbow in, rips that left hip around to get the power out of it. The footwork, you can see, really not much of a step at all. He's just able to pivot those hips and get it out, and more often than not, it kind of looks like this. Small windows, doesn't matter. He can get it in there.
Second and a short one. Look at that time off the fake. And then the pass is right there and caught at the 50-yard line by Wes Welker and into Pittsburgh territory. And almost everything Welker has caught this season has been underneath. The spot of his reception is about 3.5 yards per catch on average. And this time he gets well downfield and picks up the first down on a 26-yard gain.
Yeah, that average just went up, didn't it?
A lot.
And that was great protection that time on the part of this offensive line. The Steelers choosing to go with a 3-man rush there, and Brady said, fine, I'm just going to wait for my guy to get downfield.
Quick toss. Welker. And he fights his way for a first down. When you think about last season, Welker ended his year in Houston on the last day of the season, tearing his ACL and his MCL. And that was one of those things that was so bad at first you thought it was a career ender. Didn't even miss a game, as it turned out.
And even without Randy Moss, there were a lot of questions. If Randy Moss went away, would Wes Welker's numbers go away? And they were diminished a little bit. Let's just be perfectly frank about that. But they have found a way to continue to be productive.
First and 10. And look at Brady. So calmly, so casually, so coolly, and then has it knocked away in the end zone. Brian McFadden was able to get back there, and Brandon Tate, the speedster, the second-year guy out of North Carolina who's run a couple of kicks back for touchdowns this season, the intended receiver.
You see this out of the Patriots. When they want to take a shot down the field, they love this fake reverse action because it takes the outside linebacker and shifts him out. The pass rush isn't there, and they'll try to take their shot down the field there. That's their answer now for Randy Moss being gone, trying to get Tate down in behind the secondary.
16 of the 21 plays have been passes, and you got a flag thrown here before the snap. And a little scuffle on the near side in front of the Pittsburgh bench.
False start, number 83, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Welker ending the play.
I'll tell you, this one's gone pretty much according to script so far for Bill Belichick. I'm sure he wanted to come out here and establish that they could throw the ball, really have had that one good run, but that's basically been it thus far.
Not as if Pittsburgh didn't know it, too. You just look at the history, and we talked about it at the top of the show. A few years ago, Brady threw 29 consecutive passes in a game against Pittsburgh, and in another game earlier in the decade, he threw 25 consecutive passes.
Yeah, Tom Brady, why not?
Second and 15. Fake inside given, then the pass is incomplete. Aaron Hernandez, another rookie tight end out of Florida. I say another because Gronkowski has already scored a touchdown tonight. You've got Algie Crumpler, so they are well stocked at that position. And the guy who caught a touchdown pass in Cleveland last week, incomplete, close to being behind the line of scrimmage.
We got a pretty good mark there with that line, and I do think it went forward barely, so it was not a fumble. Good call by the officials.
Third down and 15 now. Steelers come up to show blitz, and then Brady just steps forward. So he gets him out of that call. They just rushed 4, and Brady throws, and it's swatted away, incomplete. You had Welker and Hernandez both in the same neighborhood. Fourth down.
Well, we talked about it the last time we did the Steelers, but this Lawrence Timmons has really begun to show he is maybe the best complete linebacker. Watch this coverage here. against Hernandez and just knocks that thing out of there in the last second. His ability to blitz, to play the run, and to get down the field covering these tight ends has made him awfully tough.
Zoltan Mesko, a rookie, played his college ball at Michigan, sends that one. It bounces at the 5 and cannot be saved before it gets into the end zone. Pittsburgh will set up at the 20-yard line when we come back. 10.5 to the half. 10-0 New England. That Pittsburgh offense, 18 plays, 18 yards. Roethlisberger has 3 completions. 3 out of 9, and he's also been sacked 3 times. So as many sacks as completions. It's 10-0 as they start this drive from the 20-yard line. Trying to get something going. They start with a swing pass to Mendenhall, and that's a 7-yard gain. Tackled there by Patrick Chung.
And Al, if the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to be able to run the football, and they have not yet, they're in big trouble. This is a slow-footed offensive line. So if you're going to allow the New England Patriots to know you've got to drop back and throw the football, they're not really equipped to do this. They're supposed to run the football, go play action, let Ben Roethlisberger move around a little bit. This game is playing out all the Patriots' way so far.
As the Steelers have since time immemorial. Mendenhall, and he's going to get stopped 2 yards shy of a first down. Rob Ninkovich, outside linebacker, makes the stop.
You know, we're so used to seeing this Patriots defense with so many great players. You know, Richard Seymour and Jarvis Green and Ty Warren on the outside. And now they've got some new defensive ends in there, brand new outside linebackers, a rookie Jermaine Cunningham, Rob Ninkovich over there. So if you're going to get to this Patriots team, you better get to them early, because you've got to believe under Belichick they're going to get better and better as the season goes along.
3rd down 6 from the 24-yard line. Isaac Redmond comes into the game now. In the backfield, he, like Moore, had a concussion last week. Checked out all right this week. Roethlisberger stepping up. He's going to run for it and picks up a first down out to the 37-yard line. Steelers looking for a spark on offense, and that may have been the spark.
Yeah, it really was. And watch Maurkice Pouncey here right in the middle. Stay with this stunt. Move his feet. Get him walled off. And then Roethlisberger, as he's done so many times in his career, jump-starting this offense. They needed a play, and he just gave them one.
At the 36 now. Mendenhall, nothing through the middle. Brandon Spikes, rookie out of Florida, drafted in the 2nd round. And you know the Patriots love to stockpile those draft choices.
Look how much space here Vince Wilfork has as the nose tackle. He almost plays like a 3rd linebacker in there. It's very hard to get movement on him. That time you do at the end of the play, but he did his job. His responsibility is the gap on either side of the center. He allowed his linebackers to fill. That's what he has to do.
You do the dirty work.
That's it.
Oh, good move by Mendenhall to slip a tackle, and another good move to turn this into a long game all the way to the 30-yard line. Devin McCourty had him, and then he didn't.
Well, there came a blitz off the corner, and it didn't get there. There was a great block, and I couldn't see who that was on the outside. But the corner basically had contained, and when the block was had on McCourty on the outside, it enabled Mendenhall to do this. What a lateral step that was. Not too bad afterwards either. Good job by Heath Miller down the field too.
It's 34 yards for number 34. The ball's at the 29-yard line. Play action. Ben avoids a 4th sack. Throws. And it's caught at the 11-yard line by Heath Miller. And it's everything that Roethlisberger does. He keeps extending the play year after year. And, of course, the receivers keep moving around to try to get free.
Vintage Ben Roethlisberger here. Ninkovich has him dead. Roethlisberger makes a miss, finds his man Heath Miller, and it's the one thing that Bill Belichick was concerned about, was the ability of these receivers during these scramble drills to find the holes. He and Hines Ward make play after play down the field. They are just so good at that.
At the 12, Mendenhall to the 8. You know, if there are a couple of things that Roethlisberger really excels at, one is play action. The other is outside the pocket. So that was perfect right there. He doesn't use play action all that much, but when he does, he's tremendous. And there are the numbers out of the pocket.
As you well know, play action only works when you get your running game going. That time they got Mendenhall going, hit a couple of runs, and all of a sudden this offense starts to open up. Now they're starting to look like the Steelers again.
Five and a half left in the half. 2nd down and 7. And it's thrown and incomplete. Wallace couldn't hang on to it. Hits the ground in the end zone. Wallace trying to sell the case. Tomlin looking if there's a challenge on the replay. I doubt it.
Here's Mike Wallace, and remember, this is when Hines Ward is so valuable. He's so good down here making these tough catches. Perfectly thrown football, and Mike Wallace just cannot hang on to it.
Ball coming out, never had control. Merriweather and Arrington on the coverage. 3rd down. 3rd and 7 at the 8-yard line, and Roethlisberger will take a timeout here. 10-0 Patriots in Pittsburgh. Watching Hines Ward here in the past few minutes, it looks like he's been lobbying to try to get back into the game. They called it a neck injury, no further update. There's Wallace, who now becomes their #1 guy in Ward's absence, who just barely missed a touchdown on the last play. Couldn't control it as it went to the ground in the end zone. So now 3rd down and 7 from the 8 after the Pittsburgh timeout. Patriots are coming. It's a fade, and it's incomplete, and there's a flag. But the flag is all the way on the other side of the field, away from the action at the 9-yard line.
Offside, number 96, defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
The rookie Jermaine Cunningham.
There's Jermaine Cunningham, and you can see his hand right there across that red line, which is the line of scrimmage. That's a tough break for a rookie right there. Can't afford to give the Pittsburgh Steelers too many opportunities on 3rd down.
Half the distance, takes the ball to the 4-yard line. 3rd and 3. Sanders and Randall L. top of the screen. Miller comes in motion. Wallace at the bottom. Roethlisberger buying time. Throws, and it's juggled and incomplete in the end zone for Antoine Randall L. Patrick Chung with the coverage on the play. So Ben bought time, sliding to his left, and they'll have to settle for a Reed field goal attempt.
Tell you what, Patrick Chung's having a pretty good game so far here, and Randall L., this is drop number 2. Ben Roethlisberger did his job. Chung may have gotten a little bit of the jersey right there, but the catch was just missed. 2 great opportunities for the Steelers and 2 drops.
22-yard field goal for Jeff Reed. Daniel Sepulveda is the holder. And Pittsburgh gets its first points of the night with 5:08 to go in the half. New England 10, Pittsburgh 3.
He's been coaching that defense hard, hasn't he? So many young players over there, and it's just been, nobody's called it a rebuilding process, but in any other organization, that's exactly what it is. You start 4 rookies, that's rebuilding.
Or retooling.
Yeah.
Sounds less insidious. Reed's kickoff to Tate. And Brandon, of the 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season, gets pinned along the sideline. It's alumni weekend for the Steelers here in Pittsburgh, much like in Green Bay. Love bringing the guys back, and the guys love coming back. So Mel Blount before the game, by the way, sends his best to you.
Yeah, he used to give me his best all the time.
Yes, I know he did. From the 23-yard line, that's caught by Danny Woodhead, and Woodhead tries to burrow his way for a first down, but he's a little bit short. Tom Brady has barely been touched tonight.
Not barely.
Hasn't been.
Hasn't been touched yet. And there's the difference. That's really been the difference in the ball game thus far. Of course, Roethlisberger, we all know he can escape and make plays and do all those things, but you have those 0 goose eggs for Tom Brady, you're in trouble, even without Randy Moss.
And the uniform would reflect it. Pristine. Brady. Oh, and then Welker turns around and started to run upfield before he was able to grasp it. Second down.
Yeah, Wes Welker, he remembers one Ryan Clark from a few years back. It was Ryan Clark who almost decapitated him on one. This time Welker just took his eyes off the ball for a moment, and we are seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers working hard on not that hitting with the helmet. They have been dropping shoulders, and if anybody, it's been the Patriots tonight.
2nd and 10. And Brady throws that one to the right side, and Welker again makes the catch, this time at the 39-yard line.
And of course, our guys in the truck have this one. You got Wes Welker. Remember this one? I don't even have to say a word.
Have your kids grow up to play golf.
Wow.
3rd and 4. Over the 42-yard line goes Danny Woodhead, and he will be a yard or so short of the first down.
Yeah, that's a rare time that I've seen Danny Woodhead do one dance too many. I thought he had a chance to stick that one in there. He is such a physical runner for a little guy. He typically gains that final yard or two that he needs. He tried a little jump cut and got caught.
Anger expressed by Brady after the play. Mesko, the punter. Booming kick. Fielded at the 6-yard line by Emmanuel Sanders. He takes it back out to the 18-yard line. See Brady after the play. Somebody didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Or he wasn't happy with the play call. You end up with a 3rd and 3, and Tom Brady thinks he should be the one making the play, not the running back.
"11 years in the league. You think he's still into it?"
You know what he was telling us last night that I think he's just saying there? You have to be perfect on every play against this team. You make one mistake and you cannot beat the Pittsburgh Steelers.
From the 18-yard line on first down. Moeldy Moore. 3-yard gain. McCourty making the stop.
I tell you, the one guy that I didn't know that much about, I know a lot about Tom Brady and Wes Welker, but Patrick Chung has really been a physical presence on the field tonight for the Patriots. He's been out a couple of weeks with a knee injury, but just his physical presence on the field is giving them a little Polamalu feel back there.
He had a whole season in that Monday night game at Miami. 2nd down and 6. Flag is thrown. Moore across the 25-yard line. And you got a false start coming up here.
And that was Patrick
down
Chung.
again.
Yeah, coming all the way across the backside there to make that tackle.
Illegal formation offense. Number 72 was not on the line of scrimmage, leaving only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Jonathan Scott.
Yeah, all the way up here, you're going to see Patrick Chung chase this thing down. This is about a 50-yard sprint to go get this one from the backside, and that's what we're used to seeing Polamalu do.
And that will take us to the 2-minute warning before they get the play off. It'll be 2nd down and 12 on the other side of the break. 2 minutes to the half with the Patriots up by 7. Second and 12 with the ball at the 16-yard line. Steelers with 2 timeouts remaining. And Ben going deep downfield and incomplete. Randall L. looking back and losing his balance, covered by Sergio Brown. It'll be 3rd and 12.
Well, Antoine Randall there, they're going to take a shot. And really, this is not a bad play here, because the one thing you're concerned about now is don't give up an interception. If that ball is thrown out a little bit farther in front, might have had a chance. And on the backside, Ramon Foster made a real saving block on the outside. He saw that safety blitz coming and protected his quarterback. Ben was about to take a huge hit.
From Chung. 3rd and 12. 3 receivers bunch to the left. Ben gets hit, throws, and that's incomplete for Heath Miller over the middle. Again, Roethlisberger contacted, as he is so often, but still getting the pass away. It's 4th and 12, and the Patriots might wind up with pretty good field position after this punt.
Tully Bantacane is getting close. He's getting underneath Jonathan Scott, and Ben was just too big to get him down. I tell you, the one thing that the Patriots worked on in practice the other day was sticking with these receivers. They're anticipating that Ben's going to make people miss back there.
Sepulveda's kick. Edelman back to receive it, and he will call for the fair catch and then lets it bounce, and it takes a sideways bounce, and a flag is thrown at the 44-yard line.
And the official with no hat on means that somebody stepped out of bounds and was the first to touch it, is my guess.
Number 23 of the kicking team went out of bounds, came back inbounds, and was the first to touch the kick. That's illegal touching on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be assessed at the end of the return. 1st down, New England.
Exactly. That's Keenan Lewis to move the ball to the 49-yard line. Beautiful shots of downtown Pittsburgh. Now the Patriots with their full complement of timeouts start from the 49-yard line, and Lawrence Timmons makes his presence known to one Daniel Woodhead.
Well, that time Timmons was on the end of the line of scrimmage and then moved back, and I think the Patriots offensive line just missed him. Logan Mankins, who just returned to the team, ran right by him.
2nd and 9. And that's caught by Branch before he steps out of bounds for a 1st down.
Well, I tell you what, Tom Brady took a shot on his knee that time from James Harrison. That was a little scary looking. Inside move, and watch this, right on his knee, and that looked all too familiar for a moment.
Right. Shot he took on opening day in 2008 from Bernard Pollard at that time of the Kansas City Chiefs. 1st and 10. And the 39 as he gets it away, and that's through the hands of Brandon Tate right there. Couldn't collect it. 2nd and 10.
Well, if you want to give a guy a tough assignment, watch Danny Woodhead, about 200 pounds of him, working on the outside against James Harrison. Tough duty.
Yeah, nothing like getting whacked by Timmons and then having to block Harrison.
Yeah.
2nd and 10. And that's caught by Branch, and Branch will step out of bounds. Clock will stop at the 33-yard line.
I talked to Dick LeBeau about the no Randy Moss factor, and he said, Chris, I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't a different defensive game plan with that guy out of there. He's one of the best deep threats ever, and you can see this defense shrinking in a little bit.
3rd down and 5 with 61 seconds to the half. Green pocket again, and that pass is too high and incomplete, and a little bit behind Welker, who was covered on the play. Troy Polamalu that time came in on the blitz.
Yeah, man coverage underneath, but then Polamalu just anticipates it. He sees Brady looking this way. He really just is going to jump that route. And if the ball had been thrown a little bit better, you never know. Polamalu might have had that one.
I mean, he was blitzing Welker. Belichick just called a timeout before a 4th down and 6 with the ball at the 33-yard line. So if you want to kick a field goal here, you're talking about Graham, just joined the team, about 52 yards.
Yeah, that's a big trust factor, wouldn't you say, right there? We watched Shane kicking in practice the other day, and if he hit it pure, he could definitely make this kick. He does tend to miss a little bit. He has a push shot and he has a pull shot, but when he hits the ball on the button, it goes straight down the middle, and he could make it from here, but you'd also be leaving a lot of room for the Steelers to go the other way.
Gonna line up to go for it. And Brady will fire over the middle, and that's caught, but the flag is thrown as Gronkowski, who scored the only touchdown in the game, makes the catch.
Pass interference, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
But he's able to get free because he pushed off.
Yeah, working against Timmons down the field, and Gronkowski, you'll see the arms extend here on the end of this play. Just not going to be allowed to do that. Remember, there is an official watching every single eligible receiver out there, and in this league, you don't get away with that one.
And now they'll punt with 49 seconds. Zoltan Mesko came to this country from Romania when he was 11 years old. Played his college ball at Michigan and was drafted in the 5th round by the Patriots last spring. Fair caught at the 14-yard line by Randall with 42 seconds remaining and 2 timeouts for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting decision here to make now. Do you crank up your offense and try and do something with it from your own 14, or are you okay going in down 10-3? I'll tell you, the only issue that you probably have at this point is, do you trust this offensive line enough to drop back and throw the ball?
And you're doing it without Hines Ward, who suffered what the Steelers are saying was a neck injury on a helmet-to-helmet hit in the first quarter, and has not been back to the game since.
Screen draw, usually the call to open a series like this.
Roethlisberger's going to go straight back and then flip it over the middle underneath. It's caught by Mewelde Moore. He gets it up to the 27-yard line, and Ben getting up there.
First down.
Now Ben was going to spike it to kill the clock, but Mike Tomlin said, no.
30-second timeout.
Costing us too much time. We're going to take a timeout right there. Well, for Ben Roethlisberger, it has been a night like he's experienced before. He has been under pressure pretty much throughout the course of the entire game. They do such a great job with him of allowing him to move around, his pump fakes, he can escape. But tonight, the New England Patriots doing nothing fancy when they get to him. They're not trying to strip the ball. They're wrapping him up and getting him on the ground, and that's the mistake a lot of teams make against Roethlisberger.
His number 6 out of 16 for 61 yards. 1 timeout left for Pittsburgh. Four-man rush. Buying time. Nobody's there, and he has to throw it into the bench. Second down with 20 seconds remaining.
Yep. Mike Wright's really had a pretty good game so far. That time he's working against a star young center right there, Marquise Pouncey. And his speed and quickness, he is the leading sacker on this Patriots team with 4 sacks. That time They trusted Pouncey enough to just handle him one-on-one, but just the pressure straight back into Roethlisberger forced him out of the pocket.
2nd and 10. Ben dumps it for Moore. Again underneath. And Moore staying on his feet. Moore gets free down the sideline and goes out of bounds. That's all well and good, but it took a lot of time off the clock, and they're down to 8 seconds.
Jonathan Scott may have gotten away with a hold on that one on the backside against Tully Banta-Cain, but didn't see it. Here's Jonathan Scott. See at the tail end of this play if he doesn't do a little yank down on that one. No call.
Well, Pittsburgh still has a timeout, so they can use the middle of the field and call a very fast timeout as they try to work into field goal range.
Second charge timeout, New England.
And the Patriots take a timeout here.
Well, for Jeff Reed, he's been awfully good inside of 40 yards this year, but it's been 40 and beyond that has been his struggle. He did have a 53-yarder, I believe it was 53 yards last week against the Bengals, but also missed one in that same range that could have clinched the game at the end and gave the Cincinnati Bengals one final shot down the field.
And a break tonight in a place which is notoriously tough for field goal kickers, with a softer field and the wind normally coming in from the open end of the stadium off the Ohio River. It's the breeze tonight, and the field in good shape.
Reed just 2 for 8 from 40 plus, 12 for 12 inside of 40 yards.
So a first down, one play before a possible field goal attempt. Once through receivers to the right. Roethlisberger stepping up. This is taking a lot of time, and it's incomplete, and it takes 7 of the 8 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at his choice there. They had some opportunities just to get something right in the middle of the field that you talked about. Call the timeout. The Patriots were way back. I mean, they were in total prevent there. There was an opening right in the middle of the field, but Ben just unable to find him on the backside. Now everybody's going to be standing back around the end zone. But there was a big gap in there.
30-second timeout.
And now Pittsburgh will take its final timeout. So now they can do anything. But you're right. I mean, in a situation you have 8 seconds, you know, maybe you just throw it over the middle. The guy gives himself up. You take the timeout at that point, and then you send Reed into the game. Now it's Hail Mary time.
Well, and we give Ben a lot of credit for his ability to scramble and make plays, but that was a time for an on-time throw. You know, you want to be Joe Montana there. Drop back, 5 steps, boom, get it in there, have your receiver get to the ground and call a timeout, and I think they'd have had a field goal.
Or a decent shot at one. Instead, one play, barring a defensive foul from the 45-yard line.
Well, and not a lot of really tall receivers on this Steelers football team, so you're going to see a tall one in the back. Aaron Hernandez, a tight end, is going to take his shot.
The 21-year-old rookie out of Florida. 3-man rush, 8 covering. Ben's going to launch one into the end zone with a lot of traffic down there, and it's incomplete. And Hernandez gets into the middle of the action. So a very good defensive first half for New England. They lead by a score of 10-3 at the half. So we got a halftime show coming up next after these messages. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, Al, Bill Belichick very pleased with the play of his offensive line. Tom Brady not touched in the first half, but Ben Roethlisberger was sacked 3 times. Mike Tomlin said it's not a matter of better protecting. He's throwing so many quick passes, they have to tackle the receiver. Now, as for getting to Tom Brady, as for protecting Roethlisberger, he said it's just a matter of getting the ball out quicker for Ben. Also, Mike Tomlin said still evaluating Hines Ward, although he is out here on the field.
All right, thank you, Andrea. And of course, they said that it was a neck injury to Ward. I mentioned earlier, if it's a concussion, he can come back into the game. So the report we got, neck injury, which means he could come back into the game, but he's not back into the game yet. Or hasn't been since that play. Chris, what do you make of that? I know what you make of it. Make of it the same thing I make of it.
Yeah, it's a neck injury, not a concussion.
Right. Here's Reed kicking off. 5-yard line, Brandon Tate. 23-yard line. So New England getting the ball after they deferred by winning the coin toss. And here it is, the numbers through the first half. And again, that run-pass ratio. There it is for the New England Patriots. Through the years, we talked about it going into the game. Since Belichick has been in New England, when they've met, it's normally been about 3/4 passing and 1/4 running. And tonight, a little bit more than that even.
I tell you what it's been about for me. It's been about a New England Patriots defense that has bounced back from last week.
And meanwhile, there's Emmanuel Sanders. So you've got Ward, who hasn't been back into the game. And Sanders, who did see some significant playing time since Ward went out. And he comes out. Big special teams guy as well is Sanders. So he hobbles over to the bench as Brady starts things from the 22-yard line with a play-action pass. And that is caught by Green Ellis for a gain of 7 yards.
Well, the protection has been the other story for the Patriots. When you have Tom Brady back there getting this kind of time and able to work it down the field, you're going to have problems defensively, even if you're as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers are. They really are just playing a lot of zones. They're dropping back underneath, and that one shot there to Gronkowski is the difference in the game. That one touchdown, or it's a 3-3 game.
And here is Green Ellis, and he gets taken down by Polamalu after he picked up the first down and was maybe on his way to the races. So a pass to him and a run by him, and a first down for New England.
Well, it's so good to have Logan Mankins back in the lineup. Of course, the holdout, he'd been out just this past week, was the first time that he was able to get back in the starting lineup. And he is their power guy, probably the best lineman up front.
Green Ellis again.
Green Ellis
against the first 3 plays, they call his number. Gain of a couple, gain of 2, 2nd and 8.
And really, Bill Belichick came right back to what worked so well on those first couple of drives. He has 2 tight ends in, he has 2 wide receivers, and BenJarvus Green Ellis. So he's going back to the formula that worked to start this game.
Just fun to say that name, isn't it? BenJarvus Green Ellis.
Absolutely.
May I help you? They called him law firm when he first showed up. They went, what? That's not a player, that's a law firm. From the 44-yard line. Brady throws. Green Ellis makes the catch, stumbles, but still picks up the first down and several more yards to the 39.
Well, that time Lamar Woodley was crashing down inside. I don't know if he was anticipating run or not, but it left a huge lane on the outside as he comes here. BenJarvus Green Ellis is going there, and there's nobody out there. Troy Polamalu had turned and run with the outside receiver, Wes Welker, and it left a lot of space.
So Green Ellis is out. They put Sammy Morris into the game at the running back spot. And Sammy, number 3 on the depth chart behind Green Ellis, and Woodhead picks up a couple. Harrison making the stop. In the first half, Pittsburgh Steelers allowing 211 yards, second most since Tomlin took over as the head coach, and Mike now in his 4th season. 2nd and 8. Brady with a deep drop and then throws, and that's Branch making the catch. Got position on McFadden, who forces him out of bounds, but not until he reaches the 25-yard line for a gain of 13.
Well, Brady has a way of finding the man coverage on the outside, and you're going to see McFadden at the top here, going to take that inside technique. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers give you anything, it is this throw. If you're willing to throw comebacks on the outside, they're going to take their chances with that. They brought the blitz that time with William Gay. That meant man coverage. Brady saw it right away and made a big gainer.
A First down, Green Ellis puts his head down and gets the ball to the 23-yard line where he's tackled by Chris Hoke.
It was interesting talking to Troy Polamalu. Here's a guy that was so used to being able to sort of maneuver around and be the wild card in the defense. And he said, that's really not my job anymore. Lawrence Timmons now has that role. He's an athletic guy. He can make plays. He can play in the passing game. He can blitz. And so it's a little more structured now for Polamalu than it was.
You think he's happy about it?
He's always happy.
2nd and 8. Welker out of the slot. First down. So the Patriots had a brilliant opening drive in the first half and are on their way to another one to open the second half.
Well, that time Brian McFadden had him in man coverage coming across here and just never got there. Wes Welker came in motion across the field. McFadden had man coverage and was nowhere close to being able to make that play.
First and goal. Those are the ball right on the 10. Ooh. Green Ellis runs into Brady. That's the most contact Brady has had tonight.
Green Ellis, gain of 1.
Gain of 1.
Yeah.
And Hampton then came in and hit Brady after Brady runs into his running back.
Well, Algie Crumpler's coming down on this tackle trap or tight end trap that they love to run, and that was going to be there, and that was not the prettiest thing in the world. That looked like John Kitten a few weeks ago for the Dallas Cowboys down on the goal line.
Running into Marion Barber, but he got tripped by the guard, as he did today by the center. 2nd and goal. They line up Crumpler as the fullback. Fake to Green Ellis. Pass to the outside is caught by Gronkowski for his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Well, William Gay is just going to get caught and fooled by the play action. He's in man coverage right back here. And as soon as Gronkowski blocks, he steps up thinking run, and then just there's no way he could get out there. So those little throws in the flat 3 times in a row burn the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers look really bad defensively that drive. A lot of mistakes.
I think some great play calling tonight by the Patriots as well. Extra point is good by Shane Graham, and with 9:48 to go in the third, the New England Patriots are on top 17-3. High school playoff action Friday, Western Pennsylvania, Central Catholic Gateway. And
I was thinking that.
Oh, sure.
I used to hear Marino talking about, look at that head of hair. Yes, sir, buddy. He talks about Central Catholic all the time.
He stayed at home, and of course, you know the rest of the story after his spectacular college career in town and on to Miami. Sanders is going to run this one back and get taken down at the 29-yard line. Good tackle by Devin McCourty right there. So uphill battle right now for Roethlisberger, down by 14. Hines Ward doing everything to try to get back into the game. Neck injury hasn't played since the end of the first quarter. Had what would have been a catch overturned, and that could end his streak at 186 consecutive games with a catch, 3rd longest in the history of the league. But right now, bigger fish to fry for the Steelers as Mendenhall gets taken down along the sideline by Ninkovich. And let's go back to see how Hines Ward had to come out of the game.
Yeah, initially it didn't look so much, but now you can see why the NFL legislates so hard against that helmet-to-helmet contact. Even a hit that initially you didn't even see the helmet-to-helmet knocks a player like Hines Ward out of the game.
That was James Sanders on the hit. Ward off the bike and been down there trying to convince the medical staff to give him the green light. 2nd down and 7 from the 31. And a draw, but that was a badly developing play. Might have been nicely designed. That's Mike Wright who comes in there.
Yeah, one of the problems when you run a little sneaky play like that is when you got a little sneaky defensive lineman going to come back and he just abuses Trey Essex on the play. And that's not the first time tonight. I've seen that 2 or 3 times on the evening, and it's a good play. His quickness inside is making a difference against this slow offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
3rd and 11. And Ben. And he's going to be in the grasp, and that will be a 4th sack of Roethlisberger tonight. They still can't get him down, but Jeffers comes in the grasp. Crowd boos. Mike Wright is in there to at least get a part of the sack.
Yeah, watch Vince Wilfork come in, and then you're going to get Mike Wright around. You talk about Wilfork doing the dirty work. Here it is again. He takes 2. Ramon Foster unable to get off. And yet again, Ben goes down. This has been an impressive show tonight by this Patriots defense.
Sepulveda. Fair catch is called for. Made by Edelman, who then has a little bit of contact. The official looked like he was ready to go and pull out the flag, but he did not.
Good.
First and 10 from the 40-yard line is Brady. He only gets it swatted away. There's a flag. He gets the pass out to Crumpler. And you'll see the call here from
Holding,
Jeffers.
number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That was Matt Light.
Yeah, he got his arm up around the head area and just hooked him a little bit. You'll see him, as Harrison can do. He's so low to the ground and has such a low center of gravity. A lot of those taller offensive tackles just can't slow him down. And I tell you, Harrison, I know his back was hurting him a little bit coming in. Looks like he may be loosening up here in the second half.
Still almost created a fumble.
Yep.
Halfway mark, 3rd quarter. 1st and 20. To the outside, and that bubble screen had no fizz. Welker makes the catch.
Well, Mike Tomlin talked about the flatliners on the Patriots. That would not apply to this guy. He was fired up when they missed the 3rd down opportunity, and he gave it all of them. We did a little lip reading. It wasn't warm and fuzzy or flatlining over there on that sideline.
We talked about Tomlin before the game, telling us that it's the cerebral guys against emotion. Well, Brady is both, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Woodhead.
That was interesting talking to Tom a little bit about it, and his wife, Giselle, basically asked him one day, why do you want to keep playing this game? You know, they're out there beating you up every single week, and he said, this is just what I love. He said, it's just my passion. I don't even know what I would do if I didn't play football, and you saw a little bit of that on the sideline.
A lot of it. Meanwhile, Timmons just came limping off the field. Larry Foote, longtime Steeler, went to Detroit for a year and then came back. Number 50 in his spot, 3rd and 23. And Brady's pass is incomplete. Welker covered by William Gay. And in comes the punting unit on 4th and 23.
And Al, I think that's probably the biggest difference that I see with this Patriots offense without Randy Moss. Teams much more willing to play man coverage against them now because they're not worried about that jump ball throw down the field to Moss, and they're getting these guys covered underneath.
Zoltan Mesko. Punt fielded at the 22. The rookie Sanders back to the 34-yard line. See if the Steelers can generate something down by 14, mid-3rd. Mendenhall. Dan says he always watches. So Dan, Milk and cookies to you at what, 3:45 in the morning? What does stability get you in the free agent era? Take a look at that. Patriots, Steelers, Packers.
You know, they have a formula, and it works. They stick to it. Even Mike Tomlin coming in, you know, they had always had that defensive-minded head coach. They surprised a lot of people, and of course, with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, there's no guesswork at it. They have a system, they stick to it, they don't overpay for players, and they're willing to let guys go when it's time.
2nd and 6. And that is a first down for Mendenhall. Tackled by McCourty.
Now, they're getting back to Steeler football a little bit now. They're going to bring Foster around, this little power O that they love to run inside. And this is really what they have to do. I think they've proven tonight that they're going to struggle in pass protection. So if that's the case, get back to a little Steeler football. It's pounded in there. Plenty of time left here.
Roethlisberger swings it. Wallace makes the catch. They've been keeping him in check tonight, certainly not letting him go deep where he specializes in the long completion. Average catch for Wallace this season has been 19 yards, the point of reception from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and I asked Bill Belichick, do you have anything special that you have to do for Mike Wallace? And he looked at me and he said, what are you, stupid? And he added a little adverb in there as well. So, of course, the guy's the fastest player in the league, and we definitely have to cover him and watch him a little more closely.
Was the adjective blatantly? No.
No. I'll tell you, you can see the stamp now of Bill Belichick. Sometimes it happens, especially with a young team. They had won so many games in a row and started thinking that they were really something. And then the Cleveland Browns stomped on them. You know, Peyton Hillis, 184 yards rushing, 230 yards rushing as a team. And I think it gave Belichick a little opening to do some coaching this week, and maybe the Patriots defensive players finally started listening.
1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Put a little time back on the clock after the measurement, and then going deep into double coverage. There's a bump and there's a flag. Wallace with Merriweather back there, and McCourty as well. And the two deep officials each throwing a flag.
Well, this is what you do when you got a guy who runs like this. Send him all the way across the field, and Merriweather just got there too soon. And now you get the kind of things going that you need. They needed a break. This was an offense that had become stagnant. They got some runs working early in this drive, and it opened up a little play action passing down the field.
38-yard penalty. 1st and goal. 3 tight ends for Pittsburgh. Sanders in motion. Mendenhall. A spin to nowhere. McCourty comes up from the corner to seal it. 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, there aren't many young cornerbacks in the league that understand the defense as well as Devin McCourty, and he just locked down that edge that time, played it perfectly. They've been much more disciplined tonight on their gap discipline, on their setting the edge on the outside. They didn't make the mistakes, the glaring mistakes that they made a week ago in Cleveland.
2nd and goal. 5 new defenders in on this play. Ben moving away, throws, and it's incomplete. Miller could not one-hand it. Covered there by Guyton, setting up a 3rd down and goal.
I tell you, Gary Guyton has had one nice game tonight in pass coverage. He is right here, and this is about the 3rd play in a key situation that he's been able to make. He stays inside. Miller gets on top of him. He cuts back underneath. Just able to make the play.
Night began for Guyton by swatting down Roethlisberger's first attempt. 3rd and goal. And Miller comes into the backfield. Stays in for protection. And that pass is incomplete, and Sanders looked around too late. Covered by Arrington, and Ben says, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing is right, because that was a blitz read. Somebody had to break it off. And where are you, Hines Ward? Hines Ward is the guy that ordinarily is responsible. My guess is that he was supposed to come underneath this pick right here. He missed either an audible or a hot read. And Hines Ward's absence has come up huge inside the 10-yard line. They have completely blown their opportunities to score down here.
26-yard attempt now for Jeff Reed. Sepulveda will hold it. And Reed with a low kick that is no good. A little chip shot. And that's the way that drive ends. With a shake of the head and a chorus and cascade of boos. 17-3 it remains. Home cooking not too appealing for one Jeff Reed. Lowest home percentage in the NFL among the regular kickers, and he just blew a 26-yarder to keep it a 14-point game and give New England the ball at the 20-yard line. Brady. That's incomplete. Back to the missed field goal we go, and you have a sand wedge that will do this from time to time, don't you?
Yeah, you and I may not be experts on much, but hitting a fat wedge, that's exactly what happened. You can see his cleats dragging a good 6 inches behind the ball there, and it just never got anything on it. That ball probably wouldn't have traveled 25 or 30 yards and just didn't hit the sweet spot.
His first miss from less than 40 this season. Second down 10. Look at that time for Brady. Look at that time. And it pays off with a pass right over the middle to Tate. Brandon Tate. Tackled finally at the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 45 yards.
Well, that time the Steelers got caught coming up with Troy Polamalu, and Polamalu thought it was a run. They sneak in Tate in behind him, and that was the difference. If you can just sell that run fake, and I tell you, Tom Brady has been tough on that one tonight.
It's 280 yards through the air for Brady tonight. You've got a false start here.
False start, number 87, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Go back to that last play and take a look at Troy Polamalu. He's clearly guessing run, sneaking down in here, and then it's like, oops, there it goes. You see him sneak a peek on the backside, and no safety in the middle. Tough to keep up with that guy.
And Brady's protection is just awesome. Welker over the middle to the 23-yard line.
One of the things that has happened tonight is they basically have these great pass rushers going backwards. James Harrison and has just been dropping into coverage as much as anything else. There's Harrison dropping back, and all of a sudden number 92 at 240 pounds in a space of about 20 yards, not nearly as intimidating as he is coming in chasing Tom Brady.
Green Ellis. And that's a gain of 7 yards before he's tackled by Ike Taylor.
Well, I tell you what, Gronkowski has had a much better night tonight than what he has. And it's really easy to get hypnotized a little bit by Aaron Hernandez, the other tight end that was drafted this year as well. He's a much better receiver, really fluid athlete. But Gronkowski tonight has made the plays receiving and blocking on that one in particular.
Brady coming close to the 300-yard mark. 36 passers tonight. A run again on second and short, and Green Ellis will make it first down and goal behind a block by Algie Crumpler.
You're seeing it tonight, Al. That's exactly right. Algie Crumpler right there. And it's amazing that he's been able to make this sort of transformation. A receiving tight end for most of his career. And this year, when I put on the tape of last week's game and watched him block for the last couple weeks, I was just blown away. And so was Belichick. Belichick made him a captain because of that role.
Caught by Branch. And Deion Branch is out of bounds. McFadden hustling him out at the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal in the final minute now of the third quarter.
Yeah, and there was no doubt that Tom Brady wanted to start getting the ball back in the hands of the guys he considered to be his stars. Wes Welker and Deion Branch. He thought he got away from that a little bit over the last few weeks. He said, you know what, when we have a bad day, you go back to basics, and the basics of our passing game is get it to those two guys.
2nd down and goal. Brady himself.
Brady.
Touchdown.
3 yards and a touchdown.
And now the Steeler frustration really exhibits itself. Brady. Well, these are the flatliners and the cerebral ones with a ton of emotion tonight as well.
Yeah, which one is which, though? That's the only question. I think Brady saw this stunt coming over this way and just sneaks in behind Logan Mankins, and I did think that that ball hit the goal line. Remember, all you have to do is get the ball across the very front molecule of that goal line, and it's a touchdown, and it's pretty clear.
Graham now for the extra point. And that one is no good.
Well, we've seen a chunked wedge and a slice. Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, really the difference has been their inability without Hines Ward to make these plays down around the goal line. A drop by Mike Wallace. Randall L. had one. And then the missed blitz read. And then whatever you want to call that.
But through it all, one thing's pretty apparent here. The New England Patriots have followed up their worst performance of the season with maybe their best.
Yeah, and it's really surprising because I thought that the Steelers tonight were going to, because of the change in the offensive line up front, just try to play some power football. This Patriots defense had given up so many yards, and Peyton Hillis just ran through them. It was ridiculous watching. You couldn't believe it was the New England Patriots defense, and yet the Steelers tonight got behind early, missed some plays, and really were never able to get back to that running game and stay with it.
$20-point lead in the waning moments of the third quarter. Graham's kick is taken at the 7. Emmanuel Sanders. Tackles made by Kyle Arrington. Great special teams tackles tonight by the Patriots.
Their secondary has been hitting all night long, and check out Tom Brady. There you go. Remember me? I'm the guy you can't beat. Couple of championship games here.
Oh, they remember all right.
Oh, yeah. Brady loves when the competition gets good and the games get big, and he has shown up huge here tonight.
You know, it's an interesting thing with that 300-yard figure, which normally indicates, well, two things. There are two sides to that coin. You've either had a great night and you've really helped your team win, or you're just playing catch-up and you're picking up a lot of yardage in garbage time. But that 26-4 record tells you a lot. Pass incomplete. In Brady's case, it's clearly a situation when he throws for 300, the team's having a great night, as is the case tonight.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and we talked about it coming into this one, that if the Patriots are going to win, it was going to be because Tom Brady had a huge night, and there you go. Tom Brady had a huge night.
Gerard Mayo put a lick on Roethlisberger on that last pass, 2nd down and 10. Over the middle, caught on the run. Randall L. takes it to the 50-yard line. And we go to the fourth quarter, end of 3 in Pittsburgh. It's New England 23 and the Steelers 3. And NBC's Sunday Night Football will continue after these messages. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer, Heinz Field. Start the fourth quarter, 23-3 New England. First down for the Steelers at their own 49-yard line. Then flushed out. Caught by Miller. Gain of 6 to the Patriots' 45-yard line.
Well, they're starting to really work over this left side of the offensive line now of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's Pat Chung back on the ground. He's had a very good game tonight.
But again, missing a couple of games. The last 2 with a knee injury and needs an injury timeout here. Hines Ward hasn't been in since he took a helmet-to-helmet hit at the end of the first quarter. They said it was a neck, but he hasn't been back in the game. So whatever the report is, it was enough that he was not cleared to come back in medically, and he's been on the sideline since the end of the first period. Second down and 4 now after Chung comes off the field under his own power, and Roethlisberger on 2nd and 4. Sprinting to his right, throwing on the run, and the catch is made along the sideline by Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, the one thing that I think you have to be careful about doing is too many inside moves against Ben Roethlisberger. Once you open that gate on the outside, he is just deadly scrambling out, and especially
Chung is back in the game. And Roethlisberger throws, and Sanders makes the catch on the other side of the field. Rookie against rookie, tackled there by Devin McCourty.
Well, it's not just the left side. Flozell Adams having a little trouble with some stunts as well, but Ben Roethlisberger's been hanging in there the best that he can. He really has had very little time at all to throw it. You can see just as he's getting rid of it, there are people in his face, so it has definitely sped up his thought process back there. He realizes he's got to get it out quickly tonight.
Under pressure, and with his right foot being held, he gets the pass away to Isaac Redmond. Near sack again, but Ben that time with Tully Banta-Cain coming in, and a penalty as well on the play. And it's, well, offsetting here. One's on Chung, the safety, one's on Jonathan Scott, the left tackle.
Well, Jonathan Scott's doing the best he can, but he's no match for the speed of Tully Banta-Cain, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Once this Steelers offensive line, they're a little bit like the Dallas Cowboys up there, that they're fine in play action stuff, but once you get forced into a straight drop back passing game, they really kind of lack that quickness to be able to be pure pass blockers.
So back to 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. And Roethlisberger throws and completes it to Wallace on the run. Tackled by McCourty, moves it to the 5-yard line. They'll spot it at the 6 now, make it 1st down and goal.
They'll try and create just a little rub on the outside between these two receivers and back inside. Just allow that defender to get in there to make McCourty hesitate for a minute. And if there is a man-to-man buster on this Pittsburgh Steelers team, you're looking at him right there, Mike Wallace.
1st and goal from the 6.
This has been their nemesis tonight.
Trying to make it a 2-possession game. And it is floated out and into the arms of Sanders for the touchdown.
Well, the first question is, was it a clean catch?
Got his hand underneath it and has control of it.
Couldn't change it from that angle.
Nope. Wouldn't change it from that one either.
Nope. Nice catch. They needed one. They needed one fast, and they got it.
Got his arm and hand under the ball as he went to the ground. Here's Reed for the extra point, which is good. And he gets a bronze cheer. About 300 miles west of the Bronx. 23-10, New England. Emmanuel Sanders with his first NFL touchdown to make it a two-possession game. Numbers to the two guys. Brady having a tremendous night. And Ben, for the most part, for him, a subpar night, though that was a good drive to get it back to a 13-point deficit. Tate from the 5. And Tate, with 2 kickoff return touchdowns already this season, takes it back to the 40-yard line, and that's where Brady will go to work. 23-10.
Patriots tonight have come out hitting, while they've taken it to the Steelers so far.
This is Sunday night.
Taking it to him most of the night. The Pittsburgh drive makes it a 23-10 game from the 40-yard line now. Brady will go to work from that spot. Green Ellis, another good run. Gain of 13 yards.
Where they are playing a game with James Harrison on the outside. Algie Crumpler all night long has been able to get this block right there. And Harrison's sort of in and out of pass coverage. That time they get a double team, maybe even a little bit of a hold. But they have been able to run it just enough to make that play action work. And Brady tonight with his play fakes has just been masterful.
First time all season the Steelers have allowed more than 75 rushing yards in the game. That's Green Ellis, and right now the total rush yardage for New England is 84. Coming into the game, New England against Pittsburgh allowing only 2.6 yards per rush, which is spectacular. And tonight New England's averaging a tick under 5 yards per carry.
Well, remember, no Brett Kiesel, no Aaron Smith in this defense that didn't allow more than 17 points in the first 5 games. The last 4 all over 20.
Lawrence Timmons still out, hobbled off the last series. 2nd down and 9. Brady, ton of time again. Green Ellis, and a first down to the 35-yard line. Let's check in with Andrea.
Well, Al, you mentioned Timmons, and here's the update. The trainers were working on him, massaging his right side. He has a hip injury, and they are calling his return questionable.
There's his last play. That was the play on which he hurt himself, came off, and hasn't been back in. So that's why Foot's been seeing most of the action in that spot.
And Larry Foote not quite the pass defender that Timmons is. See if they start to pick on him a little bit.
To the outside, that is incomplete. Branch, the intended receiver.
But I tell you one thing that Larry Foote is, and he is the emotional leader. He is the guy that comes out of the locker room talking trash and getting these guys fired up. And the Steelers, to a man, talked about when he left via free agency how much they missed their emotional leader. Well, it's time for an emotional leader right now. They can't afford to give up any more points in this one.
Look at that. 1 hit, 1 knockdown. And Brady, that's incomplete. And finally they get to Brady that time.
Yeah, they fired their gun that time. They came with that cross blitz that they're known for. They're going to bring them both right in there. And I think they're going to get an intentional grounding out of it.
Intentional grounding, number 12, offense, 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 3rd down.
In the pocket and throwing it away.
And that is a big one there. So now it really opens up the playbook here. Got to be outside the pocket in order for it to be intentional grounding. He was clearly inside. And there it is, not a receiver in sight.
Ball back to the Steeler 45-yard line. 3rd down and 20. Brady hit as he throws underneath, short gain. Brandon Tate taken down by McFadden. Woodley came in and got to Brady just as he released the ball. It'll be 4th down and 15.
Yeah, and in almost every big down situation, the Steelers have been willing to play man-to-man coverage against these Patriots receivers, and that's something I think that Tom Brady's going to have to deal with for the rest of the season without Moss.
The rookie Mesko to punt. Floating kick. Fair caught by Randall L. at the 11-yard line. 9:12 left, 4th quarter in Pittsburgh. 23-10, Patriots. And there are the up-to-the-minute NFC East standings, with the Giants losing today at home to Dallas, 6-3. Philly and Washington meet tomorrow. So if Philly wins, the Giants and Philly would be battling for undisputed possession of first, and Dallas, with that win today, goes to 2-7. Back here, Heinz Field, Pittsburgh. 9:12 remaining. 13-point differential. Noeldi Moore in the backfield with Roethlisberger on 1st down. And Ben gets it off to the near side where Wallace makes the catch, and enough for a 1st down and an 11-yard gain.
Tell you what, Roethlisberger, talk about Tom Brady's arm strength. Roethlisberger that time threw that one completely flat-footed. He saw Wallace open in the last second. He just stops himself, and all arm, getting bumped in the process, got that thing out of there. He's starting to get in a little rhythm right now, though. The Steelers are waking up offensively.
4 catches for Wallace tonight for 48 yards. And that pass is deflected and intercepted by James Sanders. And Sanders will roll all the way to the end zone for a New England touchdown. So just when the Steelers do start to get it rolling, after the last drive and a good beginning to this one, a deflected pass, a pick, and a 31-yard interception return.
Right back here, going to end up running a slant, and this ball is well behind Antoine Randall. Came out, allowed Pat Chung to get his hands on it, and then it was pretty easy for Sanders from there. Just the way that it's gone, they finally find a little something going offensively and just have not been able to make the plays. And you know, Hines Ward in many ways is a security blanket for this team.
Illegal group demonstration on the scoring team. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
So the group demonstration call against New England, but with Sanders scoring his first touchdown since his rookie year of 05. And it's a 19-point differential right now, and Belichick, knowing the numbers, will stay out there and go for the 2-point conversion.
New England will go for a 2-point conversion.
Graham had missed the extra point the last time, trying to get that one back. Brady, and the pressure's on, and the conversion attempt is incomplete as Tom winds up on his seat. 2-point conversion fails, but New England's lead is now 19. After the penalty, the kick will come from the 15-yard line off the foot of Graham. From the 21-yard line, Sanders. And Emmanuel Sanders, who scored the Pittsburgh touchdown tonight, takes the ball out to midfield. That Patriot defense really stepping it up.
Yeah, after one of the worst performances I've seen out of them all year, they started dialing up blitzes like this, little stunts inside. Guyton coming through and making the play. Had the Reed blitz called. Mendenhall blocks. Here comes Guyton again. And once again, inside with a new offensive lineman, Ramon Foster really had a difficult time picking up some of the stunts back inside. And in fairness to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 60% of what they thought was going to be their starting offensive line not playing in this one, and it showed.
Roethlisberger hits Miller. And Sanders will stop him shy of the first down. And Ben will take the team up to the line of scrimmage without a huddle. Second and 1 from the 44. There's a flag as the catch is made by Randall L. and the tackle is made by Chung.
Well, for Pat Chung coming back off that knee injury, he's covering him any way possible. Sometimes it's not legal.
Holding, number 25, defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, first down.
Case in point.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. You know, he's working his way back in it. And in some ways tonight, the Patriots have sort of played like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, they've matched their mentality. They've matched the intensity of what you would have thought after a 3-game road trip the Steelers would have been feeling coming back in this building. And yet most of the emotion tonight's really come out of the Patriots.
Definitely. Now the ball ready for play at the 38-yard line. First down, pass to Randall L. And that's Chung again. Chung just in his second year. He was drafted in the second round. Of course, the Patriots drafting a lot of defensive backs in the last few years. Very young defense. Started 4 rookies tonight. I heard they have a pretty good coach coaching them up too, huh?
Yeah, and the transition from this week to the past week, pretty amazing.
From the 23. Roethlisberger, another flag is thrown. Sanders works his way to the 15-yard line.
Well, it's hard enough to block Tully Banticane when he's onside. When he's offsides, it gets to be really tough.
And it's offside here, and Patrick Chung is down again. So missing 2 games.
Offside, number 95, defense. That penalty's declined. Second down.
A couple of games with a knee issue. Second injury timeout for Chung tonight. On and off the field he has been. Next week for the New England Patriots, it's back home. And they renew that rivalry that has sustained through the decade. And the beauty it's been. They meet Indianapolis. Short week then at Detroit. The Jets go to Foxborough on December 6th for a big one. Then at Chicago. Then a Sunday night game for us on December the 19th when Green Bay goes to New England. And they wrap it up at Buffalo and Miami. And Brady next week could tie a record most consecutive wins at home as the starting quarterback. You go back to Favre at Lambeau from 95 through 98 with 25, and Brady looking for his 25th, which means you haven't lost in 3 years.
And I don't think Brett Favre's going to extend that streak.
No. Certainly not at Lambeau.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Second and 2. Roethlisberger over the middle, and it is caught for a touchdown. Mike
Wallace. I tell you, for a speed receiver, this Mike Wallace has just impressed me. He's right here with his ability to go over the middle. I've been around so many of these guys, you know, when they show up, and this is one of the fastest players in the league, and generally all they want to do is go deep. Go deep, run a comeback. That's it. This kid has proven to me over the past 3 weeks that he is willing to go inside, take a hit, and he is maturing as a route runner.
They'll go for 2. Wallace's 6th touchdown of the season. The Wildcat, you got Moeldy Moore is going to take the snap. We got Roethlisberger flanked to the left, and Moore will try to churn his way into the end zone and does. And so that puts him in a position down by 11 to get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal if they can pull that off.
Well, there's just really nothing too pretty about this. It's just a double team on both outside guys and then the scrum. And who can push the scrum forward or push the scrum backwards? And Trey Essex got on the back end of that choo-choo train and just pushed the whole pile forward. There you go. Just put his backside into it, and they pick up a couple of points.
And a big couple too, because again, if you go for 1 or miss on the 2, you're going to need a couple of touchdowns. But this way, as I say, you get the touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal, and get that field goal and touchdown in either order, and that's how you make up the 11. 29-18.
Well, the game's not going to go away for Bill Belichick. It looks every once in a while like it's going to be a little more comfortable, and now it's decision time. Are you going to take a shot here with an onside kick? The Patriots answer with their hands team out there, and
some of the guys on that hands team, well, not that guy, but Edelman's out there.
Here's always the one that I want to see him sort of drop it in the hole about the Patriots 40-yard line and see if one of those guys can recover the bouncing ball. One of those shots kind of right in there. Sometimes you get a weird hop. You get your guys running forward, their guys running backwards, and see what happens.
Well, there's the only guy back, and it's a little ground ball. It has to go 10 yards. Of course, now you have the typical scrum that follows an onside kick. And each team will think they have it.
But did the Steelers touch it before it went 10 yards?
Correct. The Patriots all come away thinking they have the ball regardless.
I thought Keenan Lewis was pretty close to touching that one before it hit the line.
Has to get to the 40 before it can be touched by the kicking team, and Sheffers has already signaled that it's New England's ball at the 40-yard line.
Not going to matter now, but let's check out Keenan Lewis and see if he touches this ball before it gets to the yellow line. Yes, he did. Foot. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Illegal touch off his foot.
Pretty good job by Mayo there. He almost knocked Lewis into that ball. He didn't jump on it until it got to that 10-yard mark. Gave Lewis a shot and I think knocked him into the football.
And New England with a short field at the Pittsburgh 41-yard line. Green Ellis, the running back. Give it to him. Gain of about 4 yards to the 36-yard line. 3 straight 300-yard passing games against the Steelers. The second player to do that, Brian Sight, back in 79 and 80.
Don't you get the feeling the Steelers defensively hate this style more than anything else? They like being in a phone booth and a fist fight and stopping the run, and you get them all spread out, and it's like they think it's almost not fair. Like, come fight me, come fight me. And the Patriots just aren't going toe-to-toe with them.
This will be the 42nd pass from Brady tonight, and that's caught by Sammy Morris coming out of the backfield. He gets to the 31-yard line, and that will move the chains and take more time off the clock.
Well, for Troy Polamalu, he's going to take a guess here. He's thinking run. He's going to come in there and take a shot at this off-tackle play, and it goes the opposite way. And he is allowed to go try and figure it out on his own. That time he went opposite the motion of the fullback, and then the fullback lands wide open. And that play, maybe more than any other tonight, has really given the Steelers fits. A little throw out in the flat.
Number 30. Green Ellis to the 26. And at this point, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to start to use their timeouts with 5:12.
I tell you, I like what I've seen out of the New England Patriots tonight. You know, I knew they were struggling a little bit defensively. The numbers just weren't there. The pass rush really wasn't there. But you also knew they were so young, with 4 rookies starting on that side of the ball. Their offensive line was good, obviously Brady. And if that defense grows up, maybe this is the team we've been looking for to emerge from the pack.
One thing we know, and history tells us this, they almost never play 2 clunkers back-to-back. Almost never. I mean, we had the graphic before. 22-2 after losses in the last several years for Bill Belichick. So, I mean, they really laid an egg in Cleveland last week. And it should have been predictable. You're going to come back and they're going to play lights out the following week. 2nd and 7. Green Ellis to the 25. But then in this league this year, nobody knows anything.
I can't remember a year in which there has been no team really emerge. Every team has at least 2 losses. We have the Jets now. We have the Falcons sitting there at 7-2. The winner of this game will come out of this thing 7-2 as well. But ordinarily, we're used to the Colts or the Saints or somebody being undefeated, maybe going for a perfect season. And this year, just hasn't been that way.
3rd down and 5 from the 25. Pressure. Brady going deep, and it's Gronkowski for the hat trick, but the flag is down back at the 37-yard line. And it was Woodley who came in and planted Brady.
Personal foul, roughing the quarterback. Number 56, defense. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Rob Gronkowski, who had a game to forget last week, has a game to remember for the rest of his life tonight. 3 touchdowns.
Sorry, confusion in that secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And once again, William Gay, the victim on this one. Gay and Polamalu just could not figure out which one was going to take which receiver, and it cost them another touchdown. We have seen a lot of just mistakes. There's another mistake, but mistakes in the secondary and coverage that very atypical for this Steelers team.
Now Graham, who missed his last extra point attempt, puts this one through to double the score. 36-18, New England.
And it's not the first time Tom Brady has done this to this Pittsburgh Steelers defense. We have seen him in the past. This is just a style. Of course, not everybody has a Tom Brady to play quarterback, and you can't do this with every football team, but you could just see the frustration level on the faces of these Steelers defenders. They have no answer for what Tom Brady has done tonight.
You know, it's funny with New England through the years, the tight ends, I mean, after Ben Coates left, really haven't played that big of a role. I think Ben Watson had a pretty good year in 05 or 06. And now you've got Gronkowski. They love the kid Hernandez, who we haven't seen that much of tonight. And Algie Crumpler's the other tight end. That's a pretty good troika.
Yeah, and it's been Hernandez a lot of times with the big plays in the passing game, but tonight, because they wanted to make sure they got those outside guys blocked, we've seen more of Crumpler, we've seen more of Gronkowski because of their blocking abilities. When they're going to get into more of a pure open passing game, you'll see Hernandez. But it was one of the things that the Steelers were talking about. Anytime you play against Bill Belichick, they're going to have specialists at the tight end position and a guy that can come out of the backfield and catch balls in Danny Woodhead.
Graham's kick is taken in the end zone. Sanders wanted to come out with it. Redmond says forget about it. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, we've seen Gronkowski with the hat trick tonight. I spoke with his mother, Diane, about their athletically gifted family. 5 boys, 3 in the NFL. She said there was hardly a dull moment with them growing up. Needless to say, everything was competitive. And not only the hat trick tonight for Rob, but for all the boys all around. Chris, 1 for Dallas. Dan, 1 in Denver. And of course, Rob keeping pace tonight with the Patriots.
What a day for the Gronkowski family.
I think everybody scored in Denver, didn't they?
Just about. Roethlisberger gets away from a pulled shirt, gets the pass away, and it's caught up at the 40-yard line by Mike Wallace. And they'll hustle up to the line of scrimmage and snap it as fast as they can.
Well, so much of this offense is built around that 3 wide receivers to one side, 1 receiver down here to the bottom, and Mike Wallace. And Hines Ward is sort of that move guy, and that just hasn't been quite the same in there without him.
And again, calls Wallace's number, working that route to its max. First down at the 42 of New England.
You know, Mike Wallace is starting to show some real patience. It was funny watching him in practice the other day. Ben Roethlisberger overthrew him on a go, and I looked back at him like, oh, he's going to be disappointed in that one. He was jumping up and down. He was so excited. They said that nobody can ever overthrow that guy. He was excited he missed him because he overthrew it.
7 catches for him tonight, 103 yards. And Ben with a little shovel. Moore, well, he gets to the 33-yard line. We're down to 3.5 minutes to play.
Well, a lot of sort of late yards here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which are going to skew the stats of this one. But this has been a defensive effort that is clearly one of the best of the year for the Patriots.
No question, despite the fact that Roethlisberger is going to wind up with about 300 or more. And that pass is incomplete as Sanders goes down, and Sanders is shaken on the play, covered by McCourty.
Let's give a little tip of the hat to that offensive line for the New England Patriots. What a job they did. Anytime you play the Pittsburgh Steelers and all their blitz packages and all the things that Dick LeBeau can throw at you, when you see a goose egg right there, not on him, but yeah, that's a pretty good guy right there too, Sebastian Vollmer. He's had a heck of a game.
3rd and 2. And Ben, just before he gets hit, throws, and that'll be caught for a touchdown by Wallace. That play extension of Ben Roethlisberger, and again makes it pay off. Receivers keep working. Wallace gets free enough, and it's a 33-yard touchdown.
Well, Mike Wallace just never stops. Here he is. He's going to stop there. Now he sees him moving around. Okay, I'm going to run over here to this side. And somehow Ben finds these guys. I mean, their offense, so much of it is built around Ben Roethlisberger's ability to do this. Just move around. They can't tackle him. Good job that time inside. Jonathan Scott held his guy. And here we go again.
And again, they go for 2 to try to make it a 10-point game. And Ben throws it up, and you got a flag in the end zone.
Looked like one of the receivers got decked.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 32 defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try from the 1-yard line.
Devin McCourty.
I'm not sure, but it looked like Vince Wilfork, who sort of fell off the line of scrimmage, comes back. I can't believe Vince doesn't know the illegal contact rules down the field. Here's your nose tackle with an illegal contact down the field.
Patriots bring half a new group in with the ball at the 1-yard line. And this is Moore, and he will work his way into, well, he does get into the end zone. Forward progress across the goal line, and the 2-point try is good to make it a 10-point game.
Wow, that was a late call. Ended up calling that one maybe 5 seconds after he started to get driven back. No, it wasn't called immediately by the official on that side, but as that pile started moving back, I guess he had time to think about it and thought it was good.
Again, Belichick wants the challenge. He can. We're outside of 2 minutes at 2:59. The question is, do you see enough to overturn it? As the ball gets obscured here.
I think the answer to that is no. I couldn't see it from that angle, and this one's not down the line. And
right. That's the issue.
Can't see it again, but you also have to wonder in that situation, how did the linesman see it either?
Right.
Doesn't matter. You know, this game's still not over. It's been crazy the fourth quarter.
36-26. So Pittsburgh again with an onside try here. The last one was touched before it went 10 yards. And now Belichick is going to challenge. Well, it looked like he reached down for the flag, and then he said, no. So here's Reed. Has to go 10 yards, and it is taken by Alge Crumpler. So they put Crumpler in on special teams in this situation. The tight end with the good hands, and New England will take over at the 32-yard line.
Well, it's one of the things they do on the hands team now. Instead of trying to catch it on the front line, they send those guys out to block and then let somebody with good hands in behind make the catch. That time Mayo with a great block in front that afforded Crumpler the opportunity to make the catch. Good play.
So Pittsburgh can stop it twice on defense. The ball at the 33-yard line, 2:57. Green Ellis is making sure he stays in bounds to the 30-yard line and compelling Pittsburgh to take its second time out. And there's the look on the face of the guy.
Number 98, defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, that's Casey Hampton with the penalty call.
Yeah, and one of the things you get or you've missed when the umpire is standing back in the backfield is some of those defensive holding calls. But now I believe at this point in the game, as he moved back behind him, did he? Yeah, I think it's the 5-minute mark. They go back behind.
Correct.
Again, and now you see the umpire, and so now some of those things defensive linemen can get away with, they can't get away with.
So the ball at the 25-yard line, and this is Green Ellis again to the 24-yard line. Huge night for that man. And in the history of the franchise, they began as the Boston Patriots in 1960. First Patriots rookie with 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, it's always good to see a rookie that can bounce back like that. And for the Kraft family, it's a pretty good bounce back game for them as well. I'm sure they're getting excited about what they're seeing with this team too.
2nd and 6. Here comes Polamalu. You see him racing in, and he overruns the play. And it's the 21-yard line for Green Ellis. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to take a timeout here on the other side, on the front side of the 2-minute warning.
Well, for the Patriots tight ends tonight, it has been a good evening. Starting right off with this bullet from Tom Brady for the touchdown. Then they get William Gay a little lost in the play fake and an easy one. And then a little confusion back there as well, and he was able to beat a corner, William Gay as well. And for Alge Crumpler, his night was a little more subtle. A lot of blocking inside on those outside linebackers, James Harrison and Lamar Woodley. And just enough of a running game to get those play action fakes working for Tom Brady. And good night for some of those specialists on the outside, and really didn't even get to see that much of Aaron Hernandez, probably their best receiver.
3rd and 5. Green Ellis. It'll be 4th down. That takes us to the 2-minute warning at 1:58 officially, with the New England Patriots on top by a score of 36-26. And there is the 2-minute warning at Heinz Field. Patriots trying to go to 7-2.
Fourth down and 3. Fesco Henry. Graham will get the 36-yard field goal.
36-yard attempt here for Graham. And Shane Graham's kick is a wobbly one, but goes through. Like he kicked the equivalent of a screwball there. Mesco puts it down, and which way does it go?
Yeah, but after a missed extra point tonight, I'm sure Shane Graham is thinking, I need all the good publicity I can get here. Ben Roethlisberger may be thinking I could use a little help up front on that offensive line. You know, it really has been, people forget that Willie Colon, who was supposed to be the starting right tackle, and the guy I think is their best offensive lineman, was out from the beginning of the season with that Achilles. Chris Kemoatu should be back next week. Max Stark's out for the rest of the season, so this is going to be a makeshift group for pretty much the rest of the year.
Pittsburgh in the near future. Oakland comes here next week. Their Starks. Oakland comes here after their bye week. And the Raiders are all of a sudden hot and very much in contention in that AFC West. And then the Steelers go to Buffalo. And then in 3 more weeks to Baltimore, and that'll be a Sunday night game on the 5th night of December. Graham's kick taken in at the 8-yard line. This is Isaac Redmond.
Redmond on the return.
Up to the 29-yard line. So the Steelers down by 13, 1 timeout, and again the rest of their schedule. There it is, Baltimore, that game on the 5th, and Cincinnati comes in here. They have those 3 home games in a row. Cincinnati, the Jets, and Carolina, and then wrap it up at Cleveland. Of course, one of the great benefits when the league gives you 3 road games in a row, as they did at Miami, at New Orleans, and at Cincinnati, coming into this one, at some point you're going to probably wind up with 3 home games in a row.
Right, 5 of their last 8 at home.
Right.
So, although this one didn't help them any.
And that is caught. Randall L takes the ball out to the 40-yard line. First and 10. Then taking a little extra time here, considering the circumstance. Fires over the middle, and that'll be pulled in Patriot territory by Randall L at the 46-yard line.
Well, and it's pretty easy to see now who they're focusing on for this Patriots defense. Mike Wallace is getting a lot of attention. They have seen enough of him tonight.
8 catches, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns for number 17. Miller. Easy to take it down to the 36-yard line. Clock ticking down to 45 seconds.
You know, at some point, you really need to begin to think about taking a shot, even if it's a Hail Mary, because you got to get one more.
Like right here. And Ben, he's not going to be able to do it because he's going to go down in a heap at the 39-yard line, and that is 5 sacks of Roethlisberger tonight. Banta, Kane, and Warren are both there. Now Pittsburgh will spend its final timeout.
Well, Patriots almost as many sacks tonight as they have all season. And Mike Wallace on the outside, they're going to get a shove early, and a lot of people standing around. They have defenders. They say, nope, not you. We'll let a young man by the name of Emmanuel Sanders take a shot at it. But really, at this point, I think that it's time, you just take your shot, because even if you recover an onside kick, you're still going to have probably another completion before the Hail Mary.
Timeout. New England, a 30-second timeout.
The last time the Steelers gave up this many points at home, you'd go back to the AFC Championship game after the 04 season. And that was Bill Cowher as the head coach. It was 41-27. In an AFC Championship game, and of course New England came in here twice in the decade to win the conference title and proceed to the Super Bowl. 2nd and 13. And Ben will dump it underneath, and this is Mewelde Moore, and Moore will get to the 15-yard line. With no timeouts, Ben indicates that he wants to spike it. Barely matters at this point. They're going to need 2 touchdowns, and they don't have time to do that.
I just don't get it. I don't know why you do that. That's that's a give up there. You had to take a shot in the end zone, which would have left you enough time for the onside kick. But helps your stats, so what the heck. Maybe make a few more dollars on your next contract.
Well, they started the drive by dinking and dunking and taking a little too much time. But you're right. This is a classic case of 2 guys throwing for 300 yards. One of them, Brady, had a great night, and it's a legit 350. And Roethlisberger is going to wind up throwing for over 350 yards tonight. But you know why? Playing catch-up all evening. Sanders. And that's the way the game will end, with a plant by Mayo. And the New England Patriots follow their worst performance of the year with a great performance on the road, go to 7-2 and remain on top of the AFC East with the New York Jets.